Hi everyone, this is Chantay, aka Shantizi on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Chantay Berry. So I'm here with an episode of Chantay's Analysis. If you want more content, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chantay Berry, or you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. So I hope you all had a great holiday, a great Christmas. I know I did, and I'm just here with some. I'm still going to go on even though I don't have no viewers right now because normally I would have viewership, but it is Christmas. And I have been off the air for a whole entire week because it's been busy, it's been crazy between work and wrapping gifts. I have a little bit of downtime, but not necessarily. So here it is. So I'm just going to hit it with COVID. Okay, so according to the Johns Hopkins website, University of Medicine, global confirmed cases is 81,259,797. Those are the global confirmed cases. Global deaths are 1,774,130. U.S. confirmed cases is 19,299,958, and the U.S. death toll is 334,830. Hi, Queen Lion, Wagwan, how are you? So the death toll has moved up since I haven't been looking at this thing, but I did inquire, I think last night or the night before, and these numbers are alarming. And as of today, we had over 150,092 new cases here at home in the U.S. So that's alarming. And thank you for the lipstick. Thank you for the comment of the lipstick. Most of the lipsticks I wear is MAC Cosmetics because my lips tend to get dry a lot. So these actually make my lips very smooth. And when I take it off, my lips are not that hard. They're not crusty. They're actually very smooth when I take off the lipstick. And I think I'm going to check with the New York Times COVID map. Okay. So, thank you. So the New York Times COVID map. This is for the states only. California has 2,208,824. And they're having a New York problem like we had back in late March, like in mid-March to late March and early April. I know here in the city, because I live in Manhattan, we had cases, but most of the cases in New York City were in Queens, where Donald Trump mostly grew up at. So that's where the biggest outbreak and the highest cases were. Texas has 1,711,540. Florida, 1,280,169. Illinois, 944,402. New York, 938,710. And within the past 7 days, we had over 10,000 cases. So I'm assuming we're having another shutdown. But also in New York State, we passed the rent moratorium, so people won't be evicted from their homes. So I hope other states will follow suit. Hope so. Ohio has 675,044. Pennsylvania has 619,425. Georgia has 614,716. Tennessee has 552,794. And North Carolina rides up that top 10 at 521,990. So there's a lot of other states are within over 100,000. Some are in 200,000, some 400,000. So this virus is lethal and pretty much is not going away. It's here to stay until the next administration will get a handle over it, which is already a COVID task force in place. Health officials have not been announced. I mean, one health official has been announced, but there's going to be more health officials that's going to be announced. So that's good. We already have a Surgeon General, which is the same Surgeon General from the Obama administration. So there are other folks in the CDC. I'm assuming Dr. Redingfield will be replaced. I think he already is being replaced. But like I said, there's going to be more health officials to be announced to help us with the whole COVID situation. But in terms of relief, so we all know that the House voted for relief last night. And as of tonight's news, according to a lot of my news notifications, the House musters enough votes to reject Donald Trump's veto of defense spending bill. So that's one. Another is Nancy Pelosi is galvanizing folks to vote for the $2,000 stimulus relief. And so now I believe that has passed. It's all up to the it's pretty much up to the Senate. And unfortunately, the Senate is mostly Republican majority, only by like 2 more senators. And so that's why next week's Senate runoff race, which is like, damn it, that's a week from tomorrow, is crucial, because we have 2 senators that will support the Biden and Harris agenda and that will actually vote for the Biden and Harris agenda versus the Republicans, the incumbent Republicans that are fighting for their lives in their seats. And Addison Mitchell McConnell doesn't care. He didn't even probably want to give that $600. And then you had David Perdue actually capitalize on the $600, but she wasn't for the $1,200 stimulus checks. And he was briefed. Him and Kelly Loeffler were briefed on the dangers of COVID, and they didn't care. And their state is suffering from food insecurity. Their state have over 600,000 cases of COVID-19, and their governor was so fast to open up that the surge in the South just went up. Well, honestly, I don't think they're getting those seats because Kelly Loeffler is not liked in Atlanta. And that would be too much like, right? They don't care. They don't care. And the part I was explaining to somebody about the Republican Party, do you know about them in COVID? Well, I know that both of those Georgia senators were briefed about the dangers of COVID, and same as the then Senate Intel chairperson, Richard Burr, and even Dianne Feinstein. They were all briefed, all of them. And here we are. But then again, it's like the fish does rot from the head, because Donald Trump knew too and the dangers, and he did not do shit. So this is where we are with COVID. And people are like, oh, Chantay, this could not have been preventative. Yes, if you would have got the test kits from the World Health Organization. If you would have listened to your scientists and your experts. Yeah, and they knew, and they all sold their stocks. Exactly, Queen Lion. Exactly. They all did. Plain is goddamn simple. So now we're going to have a real administration within the next, I believe, 25 days. If I don't get those numbers wrong, the next 25 days. And trust, I can't wait. Because it's going to take probably Joe Biden's whole entire term. Wait, somebody said it's been known since the Obama years. Are you talking about COVID? Because if it's so for coronavirus, it's been known since 1985. Scientists have been studying this since 1985. And COVID is jumping through minks and killing them minks. And yeah, it's bad. And once they reach the rural areas, it has gone too far. And so funny is like the rural areas could have actually did a stay-at-home order. They should have saw the state of New York and the state of New Jersey. And the reason why we got the strand is because Donald Trump did, when he announced on March 11th that this a state of emergency, what he has done, that is very true. There's more deaths in Ohio than in the country of Australia, because Australia actually listen to their goddamn scientists. So Donald Trump put a national emergency. He stated a national emergency. Now, keep in mind, when he stated the national emergency, he also ordered Americans who were overseas, more so in Europe, to bring your ass back here and pretty much just bring your ass back here. But what TSA and other like airport staff failed to do was to test people when they came back. So the Department of Homeland Security fucked up on that. They dropped the ball on that. Which, like I said, the fish rots from the head. So Donald Trump dropped the ball on COVID. I mean, he dropped the ball on other stuff, but COVID, he mostly dropped the ball on. Like, dead ass dropped the ball on. Because now, look, we got this whole goddamn problem with, actually getting our cases, getting that curve to actually bend the curve. Because everybody was like, the mask is oppressing my freedom and all of this stuff. Listen, I wear two masks outside. I wear the surgical mask and I wear the cloth mask over the surgical mask. If you watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, there was an epidemiologist on there. She was black. And pretty much she was telling you, if you're going to wear your mask, wear the surgical mask and then you wear the cloth mask. If you do surgical mask, it's one thing. But if you want to do the cloth mask, you got to do like a protective mask over it and under it. I do mine under my my cloth mask. They all could have avoided if the mask mandates were acted earlier. Absolutely. If there was a national lockdown for 4 to 6 weeks and a mask mandate order. And even that happened, I still didn't want Donald Trump to be the leader of the free world for the next couple of years. Plain and simple. Yeah, absolutely. No flights from state to state. Absolutely. Once they saw that New York and New Jersey had the European strand, because all those people that came back from Europe, and keep in mind, New York and New Jersey are the international hubs when coming from across the Atlantic. So those are the first places you land to, especially in New York City, because we got two major airport hubs, both in Queens. So, of course, we got the strand, and people should learn from that. But instead, Donald Trump made it a blue state versus red state problem, and the red states are the ones that's having a problem because they don't even have a lot of the those rural areas don't have a lot of hospitals, and a lot of their hospitals closed down because due to some of the Republicans in a state shutting down the hospitals. And then I think that was a state legislative thing. So that's where we are in terms of this virus. This virus has opened up a lot of stuff in health disparities amongst black and brown people and other uh, minority groups and marginalized groups. So that it was an economic downturn, and yes, and Europe has a new COVID strand that is more deadlier. And I see a lot of Europeans in my city. What? I thought we was banned. I thought we couldn't come here. Oh wow, that's interesting about Denmark, Paul. But I'm just like, what the hell is the Europeans doing in my city? And it's no shade, but it's like I thought we was banned for going to Europe. Unless that was just me. I don't know. But I mean, this is our situation. And I have a lot of masks. I keep buying masks. I keep buying disinfectant wipes because I was asked out on disinfectant wipes and all other cleaning products because people bought them shits up. And I'm like, this is stuff that I normally buy when I go to the store like all the time. And now it's like, I'm having a hard time finding cleaning supplies. What kind of shit is this? You know? And that pisses me off. And sometimes they don't even like to wear their own freaking mask. I'm just like, dude, seriously? Seriously. Wear your mask. And then sometimes in the store, it's like people on top of you. Back the fuck up. It's that simple. It's jumping through everything, Paul, at this point. We got to learn how to protect ourselves. We got to learn how to think responsibly. We can't gather like we normally do. All these Republicans want to gather and gather. I'm like, so you want to kill yourself. So you don't want to love thy neighbor. They got to get it together. And the GOP, you know, whoever still votes for the GOP, and there's no shade, why? Like, what is it about the GOP that makes you want to vote for them besides morality, in terms of family values, Christian values, fiscal hawks, limited government, globalism, which the conservative majority has died. So what are you really voting for the GOP for? Because now what you got left in the GOP is what is it? Extremists, Tea Partiers, now QAnon. What is it about the Republican Party that really excites people? And this is like going back from, I'm going to say, the Reagan times. Because that's when they really started showing. They started showing their ass during the civil rights movement, but post civil rights movement from Nixon, more so Reagan, they really started showing their ass. Defunding certain programs, like they really started showing their ass. And it just got worse. It got, every decade it got worse with the GOP. And Michael Richard Pence, and yes, I'm saying his full name, is beyond the worst. But that's just me and my way of thinking. Maybe nobody else thinks like me, but I'm a realist in this bitch. And I speak from a real point. I care more about this planet than these fools. The ones that don't care, I say bye-bye. Ooh, ooh. All political parties need to be abolished. What we need is referendum voting system let citizens vote for individual issues. You could vote for issues, but I don't mind having a 3-party, 2-party, whatever system. I just want people just to stop the racist bullshit. And some of these progressives, like I said, and people get mad when I call them out, especially the white ones, but half of them show their ass this whole entire year. And yes, Don, unfortunately, like Michael Richard Pence. And Michael Richard Pence is the reason why we have almost 20 million cases in this country. He can't handle a health crisis. He couldn't even handle his own health crisis when he was the governor of Indiana. And look that up. It's about the AIDS and the HIV outbreak. But I mean, back to Harden Nine's comment. I mean, if people want a Bernie Sanders should have, not have the degenerates that worked for him to, advocate for his message. Having David Serrata and Brianna Gray was the worst hires in America. I think with political parties, they just define their own ideology, and that's fine. I like I said, I don't care. I prefer myself as a Democrat because the Democratic Party within the recent years have advocated, but you got some in the Democratic Party that's just some of the white moderates. They're problematic, and I would think that white liberals and progressives were not a problem, but obviously they do have a white supremacy problem too. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez didn't really show up to vote, which that was insane for someone who talked so much on Twitter and criticized what Nancy Pelosi was doing, criticized the GOP, but your ass didn't show up to vote. That's why I get so, and that's the part that gets me so fucking angry with her, because I try not to like downgrade, and I still won't call her, call her a name because she hasn't done nothing to me. But I will say this to her. You're representing New York 14th congressional district. You mostly represent a mixture, a mostly white, predominantly white district, but you also have 46% that are Hispanic and that are counting on you. They voted over Joe Crowley over you. No, excuse me. They voted for you over Joe Crowley. So you need to do the will of people. You need to do what the people elect her to do. Obviously, more of her supporters I found are not from New York City. Most of them are from out of New York City. It's probably like a good 5% that support her. And I don't hate the Congresswoman. I wish people would stop saying that. I don't hate her. I just don't like the way she behaves. The way she's behaving is unacceptable. All right, Paul, take care of yourself. That is true. That is true. And burners consist of themselves as minorities who think they're better than black people. Absolutely. And that's why older black folks, not just from the South, but from the Midwest, from the West, and even up here in the Northeast, wasn't going for the bullshit. People talking about, oh, New York will vote for Bernie Sanders. No. He didn't win New York the first time. Hillary did. Not just because they know her, but she was a good senator here. And the second time, he got worse numbers. He only won 17% of the vote here. Joe Biden won 71% here. And that's because he has a relationship with it. The governor of New York and him are very close. And so was one of the senators Chuck Schumer, and a couple of the congressmen and congresswomen here in New York. So there you have it. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez not showing up, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez not showing up to vote, it's like you're doing your constituents a disservice. And keep in mind, there's food insecurities in Jackson Heights, Queens. That's where that's her neighborhood. Yep, and then I heard she doesn't have an office on the east side of the Bronx, which has majority white area there. But that's all. But stay tuned for the shit show with the GOP. And don't be surprised by the news alerts. But until then, be safe, be well, and have a good night. See you tomorrow.